So guys, my little i10's been sticking around, which is unusual for these. These normally fly out the door. And one bit of feedback I did have from someone who test drove it was that the clutch pedal was too stiff. I hadn't really noticed myself, but then again, you know, I drive a lot of different cars and I never know what feels right and what feels wrong, to be honest. But I had another go in it, and to be fair, yeah, it did feel stiff. I got some advice from Malcolm over at Car Care, and he said, look, you can adjust the clutch on these i10s, but a lot of the time it's the actual clutch cable, because these are operated by a clutch cable. And what I've done is swap the clutch cable out. Now I know I should have recorded it for you guys, I don't know why. I just wasn't in the mood for it earlier. I just cracked on and did it. The idea of having my head in another footwell was not one I was looking forward to. And in the end, I did take the advice that some of you gave me last time, and I actually took the seat out. Well, I unbolted it. I disconnected the battery so I didn't upset the airbag, unbolted it and shifted it back to give myself more room. And actually it was a pretty simple job. I took the air box out the way, and then there were some bolts on the bulkhead holding the cable in, and went down underneath the gearbox. You just unpinched it from the bottom there and pulled the whole thing out, and then swapped the new one in. I had a very low bite point at first, but they're super easy to adjust. There's just a little nut on them. You pull the cable up a bit and twist the nut, and you can adjust the cable in and out. So I set it around about the middle because that's where most people like it. And there's no stiffness in the clutch, and the biting point's nice now. So 25 quid for the cable, I think it was. So that's all it's cost me to do it. There's only one bit I struggled on, which was getting the bolt back through the pedal assembly. It comes in from the left hand side, and the bolt is that long, but the gap is that big. When you get the bolt out, you have to kind of wiggle it down at an angle. I just couldn't get it back in again. So again, we called in Lady Hand Stew, who managed to do it within a couple of minutes, and it's all bolted in. So next test drive, we should be okay on that. I've only got it up for $14.95 this one. What's it done? I think it's done over 100,000 miles, but we've sold them at that price before. I'm surprised it's not got it. It is a bit dirty. I need to give everything a clean. But yeah, nice simple little job. Well, relatively simple little job done there, that making a world of difference to the drive of the car. So it's worth spending the time on it. Now, a lot of you commented on this car in the background. This is one of Stuart's customers, Alfa Romeo, and basically he wanted it changed to a 6-speed with the 2.5 litre V6 in it. But a customer actually insured me on this the other day and asked me to do a test drive for him to give my independent opinion on how it's all come together, because it's had new suspension, wheels, tyres, brakes, air intake system, 6-speed box has been put in it. It's had the battery relocated to the boot. It's had what I would call some dubious exhaust put on the back of it, but that was his choice. Took this out and went, oh my god, does this sound good? Does it sound good? Luckily, it's actually, when you get down with the 6-speed box, when you get into 6, the revs are nice and low, and it doesn't actually make too much noise with the big exhausts. But I'm not showing too much of it because I think he might be doing that himself at some point. But I haven't driven an old Alfa for a bit, and they do get under your skin. Just the sound alone on this is enough to get you hooked again. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. You guys were right, a lot of you guys were right on this, but I left the number plate up, didn't I? So probably a no-brainer for some of you had half an ounce of sense to go and check it on the MOT site or whatever. But yes, an Avanti. So these were when Lotus stopped making the Elan, a company, Avanti, bought the rights to the design of it, and they made their own ones. I think they're a fiberglass carbon fiber mix, and then they put an engine in. It's a Ford engine, isn't it, with a head from Vegan Tune. I think it's 140, 150 brake horsepower this, but it probably only weighs about 700 kg. So yeah, a lot of fun. Customer does want to sell this, and if he's interested in buying this, I think he wants 15,000 for this, and it is in excellent condition. The chap who owns it, it's a good customer of ours. He had the little Clan Clover we had in as well. He's an engineer and he looks after his things top notch. This is a really nice bit of kit. So any inquiries about that, let me know. If anybody's interested, got any serious interest in buying that. I think he said he'd take 15 for that. It's in for a cam belt change at the moment. That's what's been done, cam belt change and a service. Fiat 124 cam belt on this, interestingly enough. So yeah, so we'll get the i10 cleaned up and get it back outside again. Tomorrow the C1 turns up, so we'll have a look, see how that looks. A quick one, I said, one of the last videos I said what's my most used catchphrase to use on my t-shirts. I've looked for all of your comments. Thanks for that brilliant feedback there. I think the one that came up most often and most regularly was sweet as a nut. And I actually can see that as a t-shirt now. Follow along with me guys, see if you think the same. I can see a picture of like a hazelnut or something like that, walnut, big hot rod wheels on it, some pipes at the side of it maybe, sweet as a nut written around it. So yeah, I might put something like that together, but I can't remember who the first person is that said sweet as a nut. I'll go back through the comments and try and track down the first person that said sweet as a nut, but that's the one that came through most frequently. And thinking about it, yeah, I do say that an awful lot, and it is the most probably relevant to what I do. So we'll get a t-shirt done up with that if that's of interest to you guys, and I'll track down who said it first and we'll get the first t-shirt out to them. So yeah, thanks again for all your comments on that. That was brilliant. So Saturday afternoon, we've popped down to refuel near Exeter to have a look down and meet the moonshine guys. So do a few little vids of some of the more interesting motors. I've actually still got messages coming through from Stu on people looking at cars this afternoon. Bless him. As I tried to leave earlier, I had 2 cars turn up. It's typical, you want to leave, 2 cars turn up, people didn't book appointments, both wanted to see the little Hyundai i10, which I did sell before I came here, so I've made some money before I come out for my afternoon. But yeah, I'm getting the messages from Stuart because some more people have turned up to look for cars. Saturday's not normally a busy day for us because they normally booked an appointment if they want to come to see us, because we're not on the side of the road. You can't see us unless you found us online. So I'm surprised people didn't call and check the cars were still here, but by the end of the day, if I sell cars, I'm happy, so it doesn't make a difference either way. Anyway, let's go and have a look around and see what's here. Nice afternoon away from the business. We're off home. I picked up some moonshine stuff. This is my favourite stuff by a long way. I've told you about this before, guys. This quick detailer from them. As I say, I'm not being paid to promote this at all, but I really rate this. For me, who wants to clean cars really quickly sometimes before someone pops over to view them, really recommend this stuff. There is a 10% discount for it below and linked underneath in the description of the video for you guys to get 10% off this. I think it's 10%. I'll double check that. But anyway, yeah, really rate this stuff. I wouldn't tell you it was good if it wasn't. Much better than the other quick shine stuff I've used. Makes it bead off as well. I've also picked up some of their interior cleaner. So we'll try that a bit later and I'll give you my honest opinion back on that stuff as well. So the little i10 sold. I put the handbrake, the clutch cable in it on Friday, didn't I? Not knowing that anyone was coming to view it. I hadn't had any calls on it. Luckily I did, because Saturday morning 2 people turned up to see it at once. And it's sold $14.95. So yeah, good job I got that clutch done for 25 quid. That was definitely worth doing, and I'm not sure it would have sold because it's to the person had I not done that, but because it's for their mum coming back from France, their elderly mum, as a little runaround. Perfect little car for them. But yeah, there was another person stood right behind them, wanted exactly the same car. Neither of them had rung and booked in advance. They both just turned up as I was trying to head out for refuel. So yeah, so that's another little i10 sold. Not quite as quickly as the other ones, but again, I haven't done it very long. I put these as my top flip cars for you guys starting out, and I still maintain that. They always sell well, and as a general rule, they're reliable little cars. A bit of alright, isn't it? Zoe yellow 916 Spider. I've said it before on my channel, if you're looking for a car that's going to go up in value that you can get out and enjoy now, that isn't outrageous money, one of these 916 Spiders. I say this is the Zoe yellow, which is a pleasant yellow. I've had one of these. I bought one for my wife. She ran around in it for a bit. I've had probably 3 or 4 of these. Really do rate them. The 2 litre twin spark's all you need. Don't bother worrying about the 3 litre. It's a very expensive car, and to be honest, not that much better. So yeah, if you want something that's going to appreciate in value, go and buy the best one you can of these. Don't buy a cheap one because you'll throw a fortune at it. Go and buy the best one you can for probably about, I'm saying now, probably about 4 grand. But keep hold of it, and it is going to go up and up and up. Won't be long before these are worth 10 grand, no problem. So guys, the Citroen C1's in. The bonnet is open because the battery was totally duff, so I've stuck a new battery in. So yeah, so that's the first thing, but we'll start it up in a second like I have already, and it actually sounds sweet as a nut. I've jumped the gun a little bit there, but we'll have a look and I say, oh yeah, sweet as a nut, I used it again. So damage wise, we knew it was coming in with damage. Down here, wheel trim's a little scuffed, but nice original wheel trim, so we can clean them up. This door's fine. This door's all good until we get down to here where we've got a dent in the skin there, but I can pull that and fill that. But then the damage is here on the sill. What I haven't tested yet is, does the door open without contacting? I'll test that again in a second. But yeah, we've got a big dent in the sill here, and it's pushed it up along the edge here, I think. I'll have to go and check the other side and see where that should naturally sit. So the plan for that would be grind all that paint off, weld tabs on there, get my 10-ton hydraulic puller and pull that back out again whilst tapping along this edge, probably, because there should be a panel gap between the door and that sill there, so that's sitting up a bit. Going back, rear wheel trim's okay. We've got some winter tyres on, look like brand new winter tyres on the rear. So all those you commented on the last video that learner drivers should have good rear tyres on, well, at least we've got some good water dispersing tyres on the back there. This corner of the bumper's all good. Got some damage here on this corner of the bumper, so we'll be getting paint anyway, so we can do this corner. Should be able to stop short of having to go across here. So we should be able to blend nicely. We don't want to go panel to panel, as I always say in my videos as a general. Another one of these brand new winter tyres on the back here. That wheel trim's good, that'll clean up alright, just lick of paint. This door's all good. So that's good. Little scrape there, but I think that'll come out with a polisher. This door's all good, only a tiny bit on the edge of the door there. I haven't checked the fluid levels yet. Let's have a quick look at those. I did have it running a second ago, so we'll just wipe it off first. Let's pop it in there. Low oil. We need to get some oil in there, so we don't want to run it too far to put some oil in there. Haven't looked at the history on it yet. Coolant wise, it's slightly overfilled with coolant, but it is nice and pink. Leaks on the engine, really dry. That's a good thing. Doesn't look like we've got any main seals gone or any rocker cover gaskets gone where they've spilled a bit of oil here when they filled it up. So that all looks good. We'll get it started and we'll have a listen to the engine. So 80,000 miles. We won't run it too long because obviously that oil's low, but 80,000 miles. Sounds perfect. Sounds like a good example of these little 3 cylinders. It's coming along nicely there. No problems with that one. Let's stop her now because, like I say, she hasn't got much oil in her. She's got enough to run, but I'd rather put some more in first. So let's see what we've got going on. AC button seems to be pushed, but isn't doing anything. So it might be we're doing another AC button like we had to do on the other one. Or it could be some form of filter's blocked up. No, yeah, we've got some problems there. Look, the hazards aren't working either, so we need to swap these buttons out. They seem to go a lot on these. We've got the auxiliary input, CD radio. Check the electric windows. That's working. Let's turn her off again actually. Right, let's have a look at the paperwork. Right, first up, only 2 keepers from new, so that's nice. And we do have a service book. Let's have a look, see what we've got here. We've got some stamps. 2013, 13, 14, 14, 14, 2017. And 2020, so not a full service history, part service history, but not too bad, not horrendous. Nice to have some history. We'll obviously do an oil and filter on it before it goes out the door anyway, and we've got the owner's handbook, and we have got the original Citroen folder, which is quite nice. So nothing outrageous so far, but we'll get some oil in and we'll take it for a test drive, make sure the gearbox and that kind of thing's okay. Before we head out, let's check this door. It actually opens and closes without contacting, so that's only proud a little bit, so hammer that down. Interior wise, got a cigarette burn there. I say cigarette, we all know what it could be. And then, oh, central locking hasn't unlocked because I haven't done it on the key. I need to get a new battery for the key. Looks like that's not working at the moment. So this seat, don't know why the camera's gone dark. This seat's all right, no burns or rips or tears on that. So the interior looks all right. Let's take it for a test drive. I'm gonna put some decent miles on it before we start spending out on it. I'll put some more oil in it, by the way. Clutch is a little high. Yeah, clutch is a little high. I don't know if these, I can't remember if these are adjustable or not on these. If not, might need a clutch. Again, it's not expensive and it is easy to do on these, so it's not the end of the world. Going through the gears all right. Yeah. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take it for a little bit of a longer run. I'm just going to go down to Broughton Way and back and give it a run and just try and get it up to temperature, stuff like that, and see how we go, and then I shall report back shortly after. So test drive went fine. It is metal on the brakes though, so they definitely need doing. I remember the clutches are adjustable on these. They've got an adjustment in the engine bay, so we'll have a fiddle with that and see if that makes any difference or not. Maybe it's never been adjusted all the time it's been going. So yeah, I mean, tidy up the bodywork, like I say, give it a service, change the front discs and pads, and change the buttons, the broken buttons inside. I'm pretty sure it's the buttons, and we should have a nice little car for someone there. Definitely worth doing this one, I think, rather than selling as is.